Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at something absolutely fascinating. We're talking about how a simple, everyday game actually intersects with humanity's darkest, most challenging moments. We usually think of sports as just entertainment, right? Like a fun escape from reality. But when we dig into the historical record, we find that the pitch is often this incredible mirror reflecting our deepest struggles and our greatest triumphs.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's a profound question, isn't it? Can a simple game actually stop a war? Or, at the very least, can it hit pause on the massive, devastating machinery of human conflict? Today, we're going to explore the philosophical power of sport and how it somehow manages to survive and even flourish right in the crossfire.
Section 1, a game beyond the pitch.
Section 2, WWII, Peace in the Trenches.
Let's rewind all the way back to 1914, right in the thick of the First World War. The Western Front was just this brutal, frozen landscape of artillery-scarred earth, endless trenches, and unimaginable suffering. But then, as the end of December rolled around, something completely unexpected, literally miraculous, happened in the mud of those trenches. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive disconnect of the era. On one side, you had these super strict military orders from high-ranking commanders, like General Sir Horace Smith Dorrien, explicitly forbidding any friendly communication or fraternization with the enemy. But on the flip side, you had the astonishing reality on the ground. Roughly 100,000 exhausted British and German soldiers stepping right out of their trenches, trading their limited rations, and singing carols together. It was this massive, spontaneous rejection of the war by the very men fighting it. To truly get a sense of what this actually felt like, just listen to this letter from a 19-year-old named Henry Williamson. He was a private in the London Rifle Brigade, writing home to his mom on Boxing Day. He wrote, "In the pipe is German tobacco. Ha, you say, from a prisoner or found in a captured trench. Oh dear, no. From a German soldier? Yes, a live German soldier from his own trench." That micro to macro storytelling is just incredibly powerful. It takes the grand, terrifying scale of World War I and distills it all down to a shared pipe of tobacco out in no man's land. This incredible phenomenon became known as the Christmas Truce. And it wasn't just about sharing tobacco. These unofficial ceasefires allowed soldiers to respectfully bury their dead, exchange little gifts like buttons and hats, and, get this, play makeshift football matches. I want you to really picture that striking image for a second. Imagine a makeshift football, maybe literally just a tied-up bully beef tin, rolling across this frozen, cratered earth, being chased by men who had been trying to kill each other just hours before. Section 3, WW2, the ultimate death match. Now, let's see how this exact same game takes on a totally different context. We're going to shift our tone from that spontaneous peace of 1914 to a story of deliberate, perilous defiance in 1942. Welcome to Nazi-occupied Kiev. The situation there was beyond dire. Citizens faced extreme starvation, brutal oppression, and summary executions. But amidst all this terror, a group of former professional football players from Dynamo Kiev and Lokomotiv Kiev found themselves surviving as sweeping staff at a place called Bakery No. 3. United by their giant goalkeeper, Nikolai Trusevich, they formed a team called FC Start. They didn't have proper gear, they played in cut-down trousers and heavy work boots, yet they were absolutely determined to take the pitch. And their match records undeniably prove their dominance. Keep in mind, the men of FC Start were undernourished bakery workers coming off 24-hour shifts, yet they were absolutely crushing well-fed, well-rested military teams. I mean, look at this. They beat Ruk 7-2. They defeated a Hungarian garrison 6-2. They destroyed a Romanian side 11-0, and a German military team 6-0. And finally, they handed a stunning 5-1 defeat to Flakov, which was the supposedly invincible German Luftwaffe. Now, what's really interesting about this moment is the escalating, palpable tension of their August 9th, 1942 rematch against Flakofol. In the locker room before the game, an SS referee walks in and demands the Ukrainian players give the Nazi salute. At kickoff, FC Start boldly refuses. They raise their arms but bring them to their chests instead, shouting the Soviet Red Army slogan, Fizkolts Hora. During the first half, the German team plays violently, deliberately injuring the goalkeeper Trusevich, but FC Start still manages to take a 3-1 lead. At halftime, things get even more serious. An SS officer explicitly warns the team of the deadly consequences if they win. And at the final whistle, leading 5-3, an FC Start defender named Klemenko literally beats the entire German defense, walks around the goalie, and instead of scoring, defiantly kicks the ball right back to midfield.
It was the ultimate humiliation for the occupying forces.
As you might expect, the occupying forces did not let this defiance stand. The Gestapo systematically arrested the FC Start players right at Bakery Number 3. They were taken to the Korolenko Street headquarters and brutally tortured. The survivors were then deported to the horrific Sirets labor camp. Tragically, in a February 1943 reprisal, the heroic goalkeeper Trusovic, along with goal scorers Kuzmenko and Klemenko, were executed. They knew the immense risks, but they chose active resistance on the pitch anyway. Section 4. Today, uprooted to unstoppable. As we transition from the harrowing historical tragedies of the World Wars, we move into the modern era. And here we find a story not of fatal defiance, but of incredible hope, resilience, and rebuilding through that exact same sport. 117 million. I want to let that sobering figure sit with you for a second. 117 million. According to the UNHCR, that is the number of people currently living in situations of forced displacement around the world due to conflict. It's an overwhelming statistic, but behind that massive number are individual human stories. And to help these displaced young people, the UN Refugee Agency utilizes global sports for protection programs. To help combat this crisis, the UNHCR formed what they call the Game-Changing Team. It's a roster of international football stars whose lives were fundamentally shaped by forced displacement, either through their own experiences or those of their families. They are using their massive platform to call for greater support for refugee children, proving that incredible talent can flourish when people are actually given a chance to rebuild their lives. So, the crucial point here is how someone like Alphonso Davies perfectly captures this connection between childhood trauma and professional triumph. Born in a refugee camp in Ghana after his parents fled the conflict in Liberia, today he isn't just playing, he is captaining the Canada men's national team at the 2026 World Cup. His journey from a refugee camp to the absolute pinnacle of international sports is just a stunning testament to human resilience. Section 5. More than just a game. As we begin to wrap up this explainer, we can clearly see the threads weaving these three distinct eras together. From the spontaneous, fragile peace of World War I to the incredible, deadly defiance in World War II, right through to the modern-day hope of displaced athletes. This quote from the UNHCR really summarizes our core message today. The game-changing team represents what can happen when displaced young people are given the opportunity to thrive. Football, at its heart, provides safety, it builds confidence, it restores a sense of belonging when everything else, homes, security, basic rights, has been violently stripped away. When displaced young people are given the opportunity, a simple ball and a patch of grass can literally help rebuild a life. Which leaves us with this final, powerful thought. If a simple pitch can unite sworn enemies in frozen trenches, if it can defy ruthless dictators in the face of death, and if it can empower millions of displaced children to reach their highest potential, what else is possible when we finally level the playing field for everyone? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.